Hi, I'm Dr. Norm, and I'm passionately committed to you being the best you can be. And these are your optimal health essentials, a series of conscious concepts to help you radically empower both you and your life. Sometimes people are curious when they see a child being adjusted. Why on earth would a child or an infant even need to be adjusted? Well, science shows that 80% of all children are born with imbalances in their spine. This isn't surprising if you've ever been to a modern day birth where it's very common to use epidurals or have C-sections. Forceps may be used or vacuum extraction. This is a large amount of force for a very delicate spine. And then follow that child on from life from there. Very common for them to fall off a change table, to be dropped by someone, or to be bumped into something. As they're learning to walk, they're making frequent falls and toppling over on themselves. It's a lot of force for this delicate little body. It's no wonder that very often there's problems inside. One of the benefits of having your child assessed and adjusted if need be is knowing that they're going to grow up in a healthy, balanced, aligned spine. See, it's much easier to fix problems earlier on than to let them manifest and be much more significant problems down the road. Remember, as the twig is bent, so grows the tree. If there's an imbalance in a child's spine, they're going to grow up with that their whole life. And it's going to become a much more significant problem down the road. Not only that, but also consider the benefits of growing up being healthy, being aligned, being connected. Allowing your child to really fully grow into their optimal health and their optimal well-being. One of my favorite stories or experiences of working with a child was working with a young baby Cohen. He was just 7 days old. I had the opportunity of going over and seeing him shortly after he was born. And when I was talking to his mom and dad, I asked them a number of questions about how Cohen was doing. And they said, he's doing well, he's happy, he's playing, he's moving around well, he's feeding well. And then I said, what about his digestive system? And they both paused and they said, well, you know what? He's only had one bowel movement so far. And that was his first one on the first day, which was a cause for concern for me, of course. So I did an assessment along his spine, and lo and behold, I found a spot right here, L1, where the nerves come around into the digestive system, and I could feel that vertebrae, that there was a blockage there. It wasn't moving the way it should be. And so I took the baby, and with my pinky fingers, I just delicately put pressure, no more than you'd be comfortable in putting on your eyeball, and I just held it there for about a minute, and eventually I could feel that vertebrae just melt away, and the baby melted into my hands. And then took the baby and passed him to Dad, and proceeded to adjust baby's mom, Holly. And before I went any further, I looked up at Mike, the dad, and I said, Mike, you might want to be mindful. I think Cohen's going to have a release very soon. And sure enough, before I was finished adjusting Mom, Mike was in the bedroom changing the baby right away. Think of the difference that made for that child, that 1 minute of this delicate little force, and how that could possibly change the whole course of his life and his whole digestive function. Allowing your child to grow up in a healthy, balanced body is perhaps the greatest gift you can ever give them. Until next time, please visit my Facebook fan page where you can click the like button to receive free weekly emails. And if you're curious about finding out about how chiropractic can positively affect yourself and your family, please give our office a call today. Until next time, I'm Dr. Norm, encouraging you and your family to have the best life possible. Be well.